Love is an emotion that has been the subject of fascination for centuries. It's a force that shapes our lives in ways we often can't even put into words. Love is not just one simple feeling. It is a complex, multifaceted experience that includes biological reactions, emotional responses, psychological needs, and behavioral patterns. From poetry and art to science and philosophy, love is central to our understanding of the human experience. Throughout history, psychologists, biologists, and philosophers have studied and tried to explain this powerful emotion. They've developed various theories to help us understand why we love, how we love, and what it really means to be in love. Today, we're going to explore some of these theories to better understand the emotional landscape that love creates in our lives and the intricate ways it influences our relationships. The attachment theory: how early bonds shape our future relationships. Let's begin by looking at attachment theory, introduced by psychologist John Bowlby. This theory suggests that the relationships we form with our primary caregivers during childhood play a huge role in shaping how we experience love and relationships later in life. According to Bowlby, these early bonds serve as blueprints for how we approach emotional connections throughout our lives. The importance of early caregiving. The attachment theory highlights that when children experience consistent care, warmth, and affection from their caregivers, they are more likely to develop secure emotional bonds. These bonds create what Bowlby calls a secure attachment style. Kids who feel safe and loved by their caregivers grow up with a fundamental sense of trust in others, making it easier for them to form secure, loving relationships as adults. For example, children who receive the reassurance and affection they need tend to be more confident in their relationships. These adults are typically more comfortable with emotional closeness, feeling secure in their ability to trust and rely on others. Securely attached individuals tend to be nurturing and supportive in their relationships. They provide warmth and emotional support to their partners, contributing to more stable and healthy relationships. Insecure attachment styles: anxiety, avoidance, and fear. Unfortunately, not all children experience this kind of consistent care. Some may experience neglect, inconsistency, or even emotional unavailability from their caregivers. This can lead to the development of insecure attachment styles, which can significantly affect the way we approach love and relationships later on. One such style is the anxious attachment style, where individuals feel insecure and fear abandonment. This often arises when a child's emotional needs were inconsistently met. Sometimes their caregiver was there for them, and other times they were distant or unavailable. As adults, people with this attachment style often seek constant reassurance from their partners. They may become overly dependent, needing frequent validation that they are loved. This insecurity can create turmoil in relationships, as the anxious partner may worry excessively about being rejected or not receiving enough affection. On the opposite end of the spectrum is the avoidant attachment style, often formed by individuals who experienced neglect or emotional distance from their caregivers. These people tend to fear emotional closeness and may become independent to the point of emotional detachment. They struggle to open up and may avoid vulnerable, intimate connections. The fear of being hurt or disappointed prevents them from fully investing in relationships, even if they want to. Then, there's the fearful-avoidant attachment style, which combines elements of both anxious and avoidant attachments. People with this style desire intimacy, but also fear it deeply. They may have experienced trauma or inconsistent caregiving during childhood, making them both emotionally hungry for connection, but terrified of getting hurt. This internal conflict can make it very difficult for them to build stable, healthy relationships. The evolution of attachment styles. One of the key takeaways from attachment theory is that these attachment styles are not set in stone. With self-awareness, personal growth, and therapy, it's possible for someone to change their attachment style over time. Still, understanding how we were shaped by our early relationships is a crucial step in navigating our adult relationships. Robert Sternberg's triangular theory of love. Now that we've explored how attachment impacts love, let's look at Robert Sternberg's triangular theory of love. Sternberg proposed that love is made up of three core elements: intimacy, passion, and commitment. Each of these components is essential in creating different kinds of love, and their presence or absence defines the nature of the relationship. Intimacy. The first element of Sternberg's theory is intimacy, which refers to the emotional closeness and connection that partners share. Intimacy is about trust, mutual understanding, and the ability to be vulnerable with one another. It's the foundation that allows people to share their dreams, fears, and deepest thoughts. It's the bond that makes people feel safe and emotionally supported in a relationship. Passion. The second element is passion, which refers to the physical attraction and sexual desire between partners. Passion is often what sparks the initial attraction and excitement in a relationship. It is a source of energy that drives the early stages of romantic love, and it fuels the chemistry between two people. Passion is often associated with the thrill of new relationships, where everything feels fresh and exciting. Commitment. Finally, commitment is the decision to stay in a relationship and continue nurturing it over time. It's about the long-term perspective, a conscious choice to invest in the relationship and work through challenges together. Commitment is not just about staying together. It's about actively working to build a future together. The different types of love. When these three elements combine in different ways, they create different types of love. Infatuation is when passion exists without intimacy or commitment. This is what many people feel in the early stages of attraction, when the initial excitement is high, but there is little emotional depth or long-term commitment yet. Liking is characterized by intimacy without passion or commitment. This type of love is common in deep friendships, where there is emotional closeness, but no physical attraction or long-term commitment. Empty love is driven by commitment alone, with little intimacy or passion. This is often seen in relationships that have become stagnant, or where the partners stay together out of obligation, but the emotional bond has faded. Romantic love is a mix of intimacy and passion, often felt in the early stages of romantic relationships when emotional closeness and physical attraction are present. This stage can be thrilling, as partners feel both emotionally connected and physically drawn to one another. Companionate love involves both intimacy and commitment, often seen in long-term relationships. This is when passion may have faded, but a deep emotional bond and commitment to each other remain strong. Fatuous love is driven by passion and commitment, but lacks intimacy. This type of love is often seen in whirlwind romances, where people become infatuated and commit quickly without establishing a strong emotional foundation. Consummate love, according to Sternberg, is the ideal form of love. It is a balance of intimacy, passion, and commitment. In consummate love, partners share a deep emotional connection, sustained physical attraction, and a mutual long-term commitment. It is often seen as the most complete form of love. The biological foundations of love. Chemistry in our brains. As fascinating as the psychological theories are, there's also a biological side to love that shapes our experience. When we fall in love, our brain releases various chemicals that influence our feelings, thoughts, and behaviors. Dopamine, the feel-good chemical. One of the key players in the early stages of love is dopamine, often referred to as the feel-good neurotransmitter. Dopamine is responsible for the euphoric feelings we get when we're first attracted to someone. It's what makes love feel exciting, new, and almost like a high. Dopamine also motivates us to seek out our partner, driving us to engage in activities that bring us closer to them. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone. Another crucial chemical is oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone. This hormone is released during physical touch, such as hugging, kissing, and sex. Oxytocin plays a key role in building trust, emotional warmth, and connection between partners. It's what helps solidify the bond that forms between two people, making it stronger and more enduring over time. Serotonin and endorphins, mood regulators. Serotonin regulates our mood and happiness. When we fall in love, serotonin levels can fluctuate, sometimes leading to obsessive thoughts about our partner. Over time, as the relationship matures, serotonin levels tend to stabilize, leading to a more balanced emotional experience. Finally, endorphins are natural mood enhancers that promote feelings of happiness and contentment. As a relationship deepens and stabilizes, endorphins help sustain the overall well-being of the partners, keeping the connection strong and healthy. Love's impact on our well-being. Beyond the biological and psychological aspects, love is also essential for our emotional and physical health. According to Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, love and belonging are fundamental to our well-being, just after our basic physical needs like food, water, and shelter. Once our basic survival needs are met, the need for love becomes a driving force in our lives. The consequences of love. Deficiency. When people lack love or emotional connection, they often experience feelings of loneliness, isolation, and even depression. The absence of love can have profound effects on both our mental and physical health. People who experience social isolation or lack of emotional support are more likely to suffer from anxiety, depression, and even physical illness. This highlights just how essential love is to our survival as social beings. The dark side of love. Unrequited love and toxic relationships. While love can bring immense joy, it can also be painful. Unrequited love, when someone loves another who does not return their feelings, can be one of the most heart-wrenching experiences. The emotional turmoil, heartbreak, and loss of self-esteem can be overwhelming, and it can take a long time to heal from this kind of pain. Another more complex issue in love is the presence of toxic relationships. Toxic love is characterized by manipulation, control, and emotional or physical abuse. In these situations, love is no longer a source of joy, but a source of pain and suffering. Relationships can become toxic when one or both partners engage in unhealthy behaviors, leading to a cycle of control, manipulation, and emotional harm. Conclusion. Understanding and navigating love. Love is a deeply complex and multifaceted emotion shaped by psychological, biological, and emotional factors. It's a fundamental part of our lives, influencing how we form relationships, connect with others, and navigate our existence. By gaining a deeper understanding of love, whether it's attachment styles, the chemicals that influence our feelings, or the emotional needs we experience, we can better navigate our relationships. Ultimately, love is a force that can bring both great joy and great challenge. By becoming more self-aware and understanding of how love works, we can create healthier, more meaningful connections with those we care about. Whether in a romantic relationship, a friendship, or with family, love has the power to heal, grow, and transform our lives for the better.